Oh god. Oh my god. I just loaded my
The fuck Digimon is that supposed to be?
His teeth. His teeth, bro. Oh my.
You should send that to
Is
Jasper.
it even playable?
Fuck it, send it to
Oh no, I can't even. Oh, I can't even play the game. Oh, I broke it. Oh no. Oh no. Let's try it again. Can I load it and it not be broken? Oh god. Oh, what have I done?
You said the E word.
Oh. Ew. Yup. Oh god. Oh my. Oh, ew. Oh god. Oh no. I'll fix this. Okay, note to self, never use a save state. Ever. Now, anyway, returning to the game, we walk outside to find that Nico is talking to Gardevoir about a Digimon bully. He says he's going to take care of that, but Gardevoir warns him that Mamemon is one of the strongest Digimon that has reached ultimate level around here. Nico proceeds to say some highly disrespectful stuff to Gardevoir, who is just trying to be nice to him, again proving that he is the worst character in the game. Anyway, I decide to go and explore the forest. The first person I run to in the forest, aside from Mermon, who was waiting outside the entrance, is a Palmon who needed directions to get back to the city. I definitely remember which direction we came, and I definitely gave her the right directions, most definitely. After running around in the forest for a little bit, I realized I was pretty underpowered, so I decided to spend some time in the gym. Surprise! Greymon Digivolves to Metal Greymon. The stats are looking much better, but what I didn't know is that he learns like the worst move of all time that is extremely weak, so all the battles we start doing take like 500 years. He can't even use the fire skills that we learned. I'm going to fast forward this. It's ×4 speed. I just want you to imagine how long this took. Finally, we won! Lily had the tankiest Numemon I've ever seen. After that, I went outside the Coliseum where I saw Digitorin. she said that she wants to go find dang, I forgot her name. But anyway, we're gonna go find her, so we're gonna skip. But before we found her out on the plains, we actually ran into Nico, who basically said, get rid of the bird and then come talk to me. So we just are going to ignore him and go find somebody who actually matters. After exploring the railroad plains for a little bit, we see her in the middle of a clearing with some baby Digimon. She basically gets high from being surrounded by baby Digimon, and they all decide to attack us. There are so many. Akiho finally comes back down to Earth after being so high and realizes she messed up and apologizes to Digitorin. Digitorin says it's okay and that they belong together. And I'm like, oh, isn't that sweet? Digitorin proceeds to mention that there is a rumor of a black devil in the forest, and I'm guessing that's where we need to go next. Akiho is embarrassed that we witnessed her going through this entire event and asks us to pretend like we didn't hear or see anything. She also says that she wants to challenge us in the arena. She then runs off to the forest where we will go to get the next Memorial Stella, but first, side quest. On the beach, we run into Chumon. He has a buoyancy program that will allow us to walk on water, so we have to defeat him to get it. We acquired the buoyancy program, now we can explore watery areas. The first person we run into after getting the buoyancy program is Kamemon. We tell him we know something about fishing, and he decides to give us the entire fishing tutorial. It's a simple timing minigame, so it's not that bad or hard to do, but it still takes up a lot of time. Time that we don't have to spend right now. The first person we run into after entering the water area is Impmon, and he says he was sent here to get a sea anemone as a medical ingredient, but he finds them absolutely disgusting. So he asks if we can get a large sea anemone and bring it back to him. While looking for the giant sea anemone, we run into a Gomamon, and we get him to go back to the city. We just had to tell him that the city was safe and that he didn't have to hold his breath. The next Digimon we find here is Marine Angemon. He wants us to help him find some sea stars. He's looking for the perfect one. While looking for the sea stars, we actually find the giant sea anemone, but apparently we don't have the right move type to harvest it. After that, I decided to head back to the plains and see what Nico and, yeah, I forgot the dog's name, are up to. He, wants to borrow my partner to go take care of the Mamemon that Gardramon warned him about. And like any sane person, I say, no way. But I guess for story, I'm going to have to let this person use my Digimon. Man, I wouldn't trust this guy as far as I could throw him. And I can't throw him. We find Mamemon chilling out on the beach, and Nico proceeds to be even more cringe than he was before, and now we have to fight Mamemon. We slapped Mamemon 2 times, and he went down like a punk. Mamemon cries and begs for forgiveness. He said first the Black Devil and now this, and then he runs back to the city, I assume. Nico gains like +1 in being a terrible person, and then gives me back my Digimon. Thank goodness. My god, he better have the world's best character arc. He returns to Gardramon and asks what he should do next, and then the baby Digimon tells him that there's a Black Devil in Signpost Forest. So now with the rest of the party headed towards Signpost Forest, we are all going. Nico enters the forest and immediately runs into Emo Child, who he questions about where or what he knows about the Black Devil, and he proceeds to tell him that it was him just buzzing off some small fry. I'm guessing this is going to lead to a fight that Nico most definitely isn't going to win. Yep, I was exactly right. Nico's sitting here on the floor, knocked on his butt. Could not fight that. So now it's our job to track down the Black Devil. We find him a little further into the forest, and I try to be polite and ask if he's the Black Devil. My god, this kid is insufferable. He says we will experience what real pain is, and I guess this means the fight is about to start. Here we go. I used my ultimate attack. I messed it up a little bit, but still, it only did 400 damage. This dude just one-shotted us. Oh my god. Bro is actually broken. I call hacks. Just then, somebody throws a revive on our Digimon. and somebody says he's been using cheap tricks. Emo Child asks who it is, and apparently it's Mirai to the rescue. MVP Mirai, let's go! She says that she wants us to test this program for her. It's an enhancement program, and she says that the effects are only temporary and it's still a prototype. I'm like, yep, anything for you. Thank you, my savior. Also, if it'll help me beat this little evil emo child, then I'm all for it. Let's go. Alright, so Mirai is straight up just putting a little emo child in his place. She says this is her turf. Okay, now these two are just straight up just trash talking each other. Alright, here we go. Round 2. And we're working with Mirai's Digimon, so it should be easier. Honestly, I'm starting to think that only the problem children got sent to the digital world. I don't know what main character's problem is, but he's probably a little messed up too, to be honest. Okay, so it looks like we're just gonna have to survive for about 45 more seconds, because it doesn't look like we can actually do any real damage to this guy. Kinda glad she's the one who got hit with that ultimate attack, because if it were me, I'd be dead. Looks like we survived, and Yuya, little emo child, is very tired now. He does the classic anime villain scream as we walk away. Mirai appears to be about to do some real freaky stuff with us, a little uncomfortable. Looks like it's some kind of weird acid trip. I have no idea what she wants me to say about that, so I picked the most corny answer available. I asked her who she is, and she said she's told me all she can for now. She tells me to go check out the Coliseum in the city. I guess that's where we'll go shortly. I walk around the forest a little bit more and run into Yuya, who has ran into the Darumon from earlier. Darumon informs Yuya that his partner has the X antibody, and Yuya basically says he does not care. Darumon then tells Yuya that all of his friends randomly one day got deleted and he was the only survivor. Yuya basically says that Dorumon's entire backstory is boring and that even if his friends vanished, that means that there's still things left for him to do here. I'm not gonna lie, that definitely is probably gonna cheer Dorumon up. He also tells Dorumon to stop worrying so much about the X antibody, that things just are the way they are, for the most part. He then informs Dorumon that there is a strange stream of data moving around this place and he's going to go investigate it, and for him to stop boring him with his boring sob stories. Dorumon is now starstruck and thinks that they're amazing for not worrying about fate. In fact, he's so enamored with them that he basically ignores us. Now anyway, back to the arena. First arena match is just beating up Nico and his unevolved puppy. After his defeat, Nico tells us that his dad was working on a secret project, and then one day a bunch of people showed up to his house and took his dad. I just find it kind of funny that they showed up, took this kid's dad, and left him with no parents. Next match, we are going to bully a child who got sucked into the digital world at a summer camp. Alright, and now we're going to take the advancement battle. If we beat this guy, we get to go to the next floor in the arena. Alright, we won, now off to the second floor. Also, you may have noticed that my Digimon is wearing extremely stupid accessories, and that's because you get them for doing stuff. So now I can make my Digimon look like an absolute buffoon. For fun! I talked to Poyamon and he said that we can't go any further on the second floor until we win at least 5 matches on this floor, so I guess that's what we're going to do. The first person that I see on the list for this floor is Yanko Tamer, which is Akiho, so I guess we're gonna beat her and get that secret or whatever she was trying to keep from us. Her Piyomon is very bulky, so I'm just gonna speed this up a little bit. Alright, we finally brought her down, so let's see what Akiho has to say. She says she thinks it's embarrassing that a girl is into games. Alright. I tell her it's no big deal. She seems to be a little bit more comfortable with herself now after having that conversation with us, which is really nice. So now I'm going to stuff my Digimon full of delicious food until it becomes extremely powerful. Also, that is a giant okay, that's definitely how you eat that. Alright. After that, I go back to exploring the forest where I find a Salamon alone in the forest. So we start playing 20 questions with it. No matter what dialogue option I picked, it didn't make a difference. There seems to be nothing I can do to it right now. We go deeper into the forest, we get to the Memorial Stela, and we see that Yuya and Mirai are there, and the rest of the gang is right behind us. It appears that that Digimon we fought earlier at the first Stela has evolved, and, way bigger than before. It appears to be guarding a piece of junk data. Nico said that might be something. He tried to run up to it and it slapped him away. It also appears to have summoned minions, so everyone just starts fighting. It picks up a piece of junk data and runs towards the Stela. With everyone preoccupied with the minions, they asked me to go ahead and chase that thing down and get the garbage data back from it. Mirai tells me to show it the power of my aptitude. Okay, so here we go. Also, Graham is getting really old. He's starting to pant, and I don't know how much longer he'll last. I start the battle off by using my special attack. I was saving it for a boss battle, and I still missed it. It's funny because that was actually enough to one-shot him. The monster summons a portal and leaves. After it left, the Memorial Stela came back up and everyone all caught up with us. It also left behind the piece of junk data, which we can examine. It says, information flows in all minds. It must be provided equally with everyone given access. It's truly open source. Even if I'm ridiculed for my optimism, I must not give up. Light shines in a place of ideals. This is worth fighting for. Nico says that that message is probably from his dad, and that his dad is an engineer that works at Gigo. Gigo is the company that runs Digital Monsters. He also says that his dad is barely ever home and basically lives at work. I mean, if I had a kid like Nico, I'd never want to go home either. They said that the police also don't know anything, or at least that's what his mom told him. Oh my god, he has a mom. Yuya says Nico's dad's probably a crazy scientist running dangerous experiments. Nico is now triggered. Akiho says that was rude, but when has this guy ever shown even the slightest bit of manners? So, I guess our next stop is Ancient Bone Swamp. Nico says that the problem is his and that we should all stay out of his business effectively, and, well, we're all kind of trapped here too. I don't think that's gonna happen. I had the option to pick between being worried about Nico or going to Ancient Bone Swamp. You know I picked the swamp. I feel like we're gonna have to check on Nico either way, regardless of how I feel about him. After I leave the Stella area, a Salamon runs up to me and says it heard a huge sound. It runs past me back towards the Stella, and for some reason a cutscene starts after that. Excuse me, but what the frick is going on? We run back towards the Stella because some weird portal is open and Salamon is just standing in front of it. Doberman comes out of nowhere and pushes Salamon away from the portal, saying it's the X program. Apparently him being near the portal has triggered something, and something weird is starting to happen. I'm guessing that's Omnimon X and Gallantmon X, and they just kind of appeared out of the portal. Excuse me? Alright, so I guess we're fighting now. It looks like I only have to survive for 30 seconds. Yeah, for some reason my health won't stop dropping during this entire fight, so I'm trying to be extra cautious and sure about it. So after the fight, they start picking on Doberman immediately. They call him a coward and says he won't look him in the eye after they erased all his friends. Gallantmon X is like, hey, let's not bully him. What do you mean bully him? You killed everyone he ever cared about. That goes a little past bullying. They also said they're gonna go explore the unfathomable, and that we can come join them. And like, they just slowly fade into the portal, and the portal disappears. Salamon comforts Doberman and said that it's glad that Doberman kept it away from that portal, and those guys were scary. Salamon then says that it wants to stay by Doberman's side, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, he has new friends. Okay, now back to exploring the forest. Bro. Graham just died. Digimon tells us that our partner has made it to the end of his lifespan. He also says that we will need to transfer its core to a new Digi-Egg to continue our journey. He says we'll also keep any moves that we learned in our Digivice, and that some of the abilities that our partner has will be passed down to the egg, and that we can also use our old partner as a skill in battle. After that explanation, he asked me if I'd like to register Graham's data in the Digimemory, and I said yes. Then he asked me if I'd like to transfer some of my previous partner's power to the new one, and I said yes. Then he presents us with 7 eggs. After reading what every egg specializes in, I think I'm going to pick the egg that uses speed, because I think that moving around the field, actually being able to catch things when you use your moves is really important, because there were a lot of times where I was grinding in this game where my partner would try and activate a move and the enemy would just walk out of range because it was too slow. Oh wow, that's a fat baby. I don't know what to name it. How about this? Oh. Alright, time for a training montage. Alright. It looks like he's finally turning into a Digimon. Let's see what we get. Oh. Oh well. I decided to visit the normal gym, and apparently Nico's just hanging around there. And he says that he wants to do some training, so we decide to join him. We go to a normal gym and we see Nico. He wanted to train for 6 hours, so we're gonna skip ahead and see what happens. His Galmon actually digivolves after 6 hours of training. And a little while later, our Digimon decides to digivolve as well. I wonder what he'll turn into. I swear we're not copying Nico. He's like the worst role model. After finding the route to Ancient Bowed Swamp, Gardevoir gives us a warning saying the Digimon there are a bit more powerful. When we enter the swamp, we immediately run into Akiho. Akiho says she thinks we should chase the one boy. I think she's talking about Emo Boy. And we agree with her. Also, Digitorin thinks we're a couple or something. Anyway, we have to go get that garbage data at the Memorial Stella. So, off we go. We stopped to talk to Palmon on the way deeper into the swamp, and she basically says Gatomon is the master of this area and that she's going to kick our butts. While exploring the swamp, we run into a random Gilmon who says that he has the burning desire to sculpt. So I guess we have to run around the swamp until we find some kind of material for him to sculpt out of. Anyway, while continuing our exploration of the swamp, we see this, I think that's a Kudamon stuck in the ground, so we try and pull it out, but we just don't have enough strength to get it fully out of the ground, so I guess we're gonna come back to this later. We finally make it to the Memorial Stella, and we see Yuya there beating on Gatomon, who is also, like, corrupted. Akiho comes running up from behind us, and he's still putting the beat down on poor little Gatomon. He takes joy in absolutely bullying the poor little Gatomon. He turns his back to her and immediately pays for it. He has got to stop thinking that he is stronger than everyone, that he's too good to be hurt. And so now we start fighting Gatomon to protect Yuya. I started off the fight by using my ultimate attack on her. It did barely anything. It seems like we're gonna have to have another training montage after this. Alright, we finally take down Gatomon. And we are rewarded with one of her attacks, Spin Attack. Also, apparently my inventory is full and I have to figure out something to throw away. She comes back to her senses and realizes she is in a ton of pain. Akiho tries to tell her that she was fighting us, but she won't listen and runs off. Yuya, being the hypocrite that he is, says that getting so close to an enemy is careless. Just as they were starting to argue, the Memorial Stella came back online and we find more garbage data laying on the ground. And it says, "Where am I? No one is around. It's so empty. Should I go look around? Is there someone who will find me?" After that, we decide to go to the tower where the basement floor has been opened up after our conversation with the ex-antibody Digimon. We go talk to the weird memorial stele that's under here, and it takes us to this weird place. The first person we run into here is Agumon X, and he tells us that this is Mount Infinity, and that it's riddled with X antibody. Okay, he basically says a bunch of stuff, but just know that this place is an explorable area where there's different money and different items, and we can't bring our normal money or items here. Also, there is a machine that lets us load previous partners' data to use while we're here in Mount Infinity. There's also a vending machine where we can spend the money that we get from here on items that we can use here. I started exploring a little bit, and it seems to be like a roguelike mode. The first mon that we run into is Greymon X, and we tell him that we're also part of the rescue squad or whatever that explores this area, and he wants to test our strength, so we start fighting. We get to the second floor and we meet Greymon there and decide to talk. He tells us this is a dead end and the only way to progress is to tinker with the machine. I decide that I don't want to do that right now and go back to Agumon X and get our items back and leave. We'll come back to this another time. Yuya informs us that Mirai has left, that he calls her partners weak, and that of course she'd have no interest in the X program. He then decides that he's interested and tells Black to open the portal to the Mountain Infinity. So I guess that's where he's going. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Also, right after that, Salomon and Dorumon show up. Salomon runs right into the portal, and Dorumon follows after her. Now anyway, we decide to go and explore the water area now. I had forgotten that I left a marine Angemon sitting here waiting for me to get a starfish this entire time. We found one for her, gave it to her, she gave us an angel ribbon, and decides to go back to the city. Thank goodness. After that, I return to the swamp and we find Gatomon. She tells us to leave her the hell alone, and then she said that we did all horrible things to her, and I told her we're both to blame. Then she's upset, saying that why are we all jolly and happy while she's here injured. I decide to give her a small HP disc. She then says she doesn't want our pity and that it's embarrassing. Then she returns to the city. After exploring some more in the swamp, we find this Cherriermon saying that he doesn't have much time left and that he wants to plant seeds. So we decide to help him. We have to run around the swamp and hit plants until we find some spores to give this guy. You know, that just didn't look right. We're not going to talk about that. I returned to the city for a little bit to feed my Digimon and also put some items away, and then he decided to Digivolve. Let's see what he turns into. Wow. Alright then. We definitely need to work on our defense. But anyway, back to exploring the swamp. We run into a Gabrimon who tells us that we need to collect rocks because there's a sinkhole behind him. So we run around the swamp for a little bit collecting rocks, and then we go and talk to him. So it turns out that he was lying to us the entire time and that there's no actual sinkhole. He runs off back to the sea. Beyond the swamp is this area that's like a desert, and the first mon we run into here is Solarmon, and he asks us to find a tube for him. We agree, and we're gonna go do that. But before we do that, we see this Tentomon here trying to run a shop, and he says that he's having an issue getting business, and we said that we could help him. Business is not booming, so we decide to put our own money in the register. He thanks us and gives us a card of himself, and also now we can purchase Digimon cards here for our collection. I proceed to spend my entire life savings at this shop. I have an addiction. Anyway, deeper into this area, we find a Polyomon asking a bunch of questions about the tube. We give him the correct information, and then he decides to return to the city, after which we pick up the tube, and we have to remember to give that back to Solarmon at some point. I decided to jump back to the swamp, and because I actually managed to find some spores for Cherrymon, when we give it to him, he says he's gonna plant it and he hopes it grows fast. Also, I haven't mentioned this entire time, but my Digimon is like super weak to the swamp and the wasteland area, and if I stay there too long, he gets really sick. So that's why I've been jumping around so much, because I don't want him to die. Also, he evolved at some point, I just forgot to record it. On my way to return the pipe to Solarmon, we find this Dromojimon underground, and we have to try and help him. We help pull him out of the wall, and then he tells us that he will be done with his tunnel in a couple days. So we'll check back on him in a couple days. Thank you for watching. I hope you had a good day. Sorry about not uploading sooner. I just wasn't feeling well for a little while there. But I hope you like and subscribe. And if you made it this far, I'm surprised and appreciative. Thanks. Bye.